former CIA analyst Buck Sexton. Buck, come on. I mean, he was among 4 senators. It was against us for maybe perfectly valid reasons at the time. You remember the House took it up only as a resolution, didn't go anywhere. So you can't have it both ways, can you?
Well, if you're Chuck Schumer, apparently you think you can. Look, the Iran deal withdrawal by President Trump is a promise kept. I also think that for people that really care about constitutionalism, separation of powers, we shouldn't have a precedent that presidents can use their discretion then bind future presidents to deals that don't go through the Senate. So I think that's another added benefit of all this, on top of the fact that it was just a bad deal. It didn't deal with some issues that were clearly central to what we want with Iran, which is to defang what will be a nuclear state at some point in the future. And on North Korea, by the way, saying that this is no big deal, Kim Jong-un could very well have held on to those hostages to give him additional leverage going into this summit. In fact, I think that if he had no plans to even hear Trump out, that might have been the way forward for him. At a minimum, it's a confidence-building measure, and obviously it's also great news for the American people and the families that get back their family members. So I'd like to see a little more cheerfulness from Democrats on that, for obvious reasons. You know,
for obvious reasons, I have to ask you a little bit about what's going on right now. The oil market response to this, it seems a little, arcane here, but oil was running up. It's still at multi-year highs, but this feeling seems to be that we could see oil taken off the market. The Iranians could be in a world of hurt here, sanctions, the whole drill. And yet, if the world financial markets, our own included, were concerned about it, they had a funny way of showing it. So who's right here?
I think a lot of that is priced into this, Neil. I think that people were expecting that Trump, for quite a while, was going to pull out of this deal. And when you look at the capacity that the U.S. is going to have because of shale and also just the excess capacity in the market around the world right now, I'm not sure that anyone would expect there'd be a major oil shock from Iran having its capacity taken off of the market. And certainly from a global financial perspective, Trump has done so much that I think has given the markets a sense of stability that we're not going to see shocks from things like the Iran deal. We're not going to see people all of a sudden get spooked. And a lot of the conventional wisdom folks, by the way, the people that are using geopolitics that use geopolitics as a barometer for where the market's going, have been proven wrong time and time again when it comes to Trump. So I think that also factors into the thinking.
No, you're so right about that. But what if we're the only ones that do this? In other words, the 5 countries that signed on, England, France, Germany, China, Russia, they don't sign on to what we're doing, and we're going out on this alone. Then what?
I think we have more leverage with our allies. Perhaps that's not the right word. We have better ways of actually establishing with them a means of getting a new deal. I mean, keep in mind, the Trump administration is not saying we just want sanctions with Iran, we have nothing else planned.
Right.
They want a renegotiation of the deal. I mean, President Trump ran as a negotiator. He's also going to go to our allies now, or Pompeo and the rest of Trump's team, and say, look, guys, we have the upper hand here in dealing with the Iranians. They can either have a real economy with connectivity to the global financial system, or they can have a nuclear weapons program. They absolutely cannot have both, and we, meaning us and our allies, should all be working toward that end, and that includes ballistic missiles as part of this. That includes inspections of sites, military sites the Iranians have that were excluded, and no sunset provisions. I mean, that was the fatal flaw, I think, from the beginning of this deal that everyone saw and said, unless you get a radically different regime in 10 years, the radicals are going to be in charge. How could this ever work?
All right. Well, right now, to your point, it's not proving to be the end of the world here, but we'll watch it closely. Buck, always good having you. Thank you very, very much.
Great seeing you. Thank you.